This week's Nut Job of the Week is Republican Senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. When talking to Fox News anchor Chris Wallace, he said, "I think the time for talking is over," in reference to Iran. And he strongly hinted at being in favor of another preemptive war in the Middle East. And as I'll demonstrate for you guys, in all seriousness, taking that position, or even hinting at that position, is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most stupid, it's about a 436. The Republican establishment has been beating the drums of war with Iran for a while now, and to say that they are massively out of touch with the American mainstream, who they're supposed to be representing, by the way, is the understatement of the year. So let's break this down. According to the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy Agency, Iran is currently enriching uranium to up to 20% purity. Now, around that level is the level that's appropriate to provide nuclear power for electricity for a power system or a power grid for the Iranian people, who frankly need it. Iran is also allowed under international treaties to enrich for that particular purpose. So far, no problem. Well, that begs the question, how much does uranium need to be enriched to make a nuclear weapon? And the answer is 90%. So they're way off from that. And according to US and Israeli intelligence and the International Atomic Energy Agency, Iran's leaders have yet to even make a decision to build a nuclear weapon. And, as experts and US officials have said, the international community would know if Iran decides to enrich uranium to bomb-grade purity level, because its nuclear program is continuously monitored by the IAEA. So that's point number one, which is essentially my calm the fuck down point. So point number two, even if Iran did enrich to get a nuclear weapon, which I don't want them to, but even if they did, the reactionary assumption that they would instantly use it is absurd. You don't have to like Iran to realize that they aren't Al-Qaeda-stan. There is no Al-Qaeda-stan. In fact, according to Mir Dagan, the former head of Mossad, which is basically the Israeli CIA, and his chief job was to study Ahmadinejad and look after him and his regime and react accordingly, he says that Iran, whether the US and the leadership in Israel like to admit it or not, is essentially a rational regime. In other words, they know what would happen to them if they launched a nuke at the US or Israel. Instant annihilation for them, and they're just not that stupid. But let me wrap this up by being blunt about it. Look, Iran is not a threat. For people to not see the direct parallels between the lead-up going on right now for a war with Iran and the lead-up we had for war with Iraq is really Orwellian. It's the same script with a different country. The US military as it stands today is so large and so powerful that the idea by the panicky idiot politicians and the media that evil Iran is coming for us, that idea is just comical. And in sort of a tragic irony, which country is actually the bloodthirsty one? We are the ones that have had a history in recent times of starting preemptive wars, sometimes even with the wrong goddamn country. We are the country that has ever lived to actually have dropped an atomic bomb. Yet the politicians and the media are so quick to beat the drums of war and so quick to pretend like we're the victims that they don't stop to think about the fact that Iran starting a war is like a pee-wee basketball player challenging Michael Jordan, or a junior golfer stepping to Tiger Woods. So, for disregarding history, facts, and common sense, Lindsey Graham is this week's Nut Job of the Week.